walking down the road and see a falling star, and you make a wish. Ooh, just remember, luck is no such thing. One man succeeds while another man fails. Why is it then, you ask, the stars up above?
Coming to you live from New York City, you're watching Astrology-Numerology now. I'm your host, professional astrologer, numerologist, Zaki Z Starman, or you can call me Z Starman. We start off the show by bringing you the latest astrology, numerology news and information as we've done on this network, Manhattan Neighborhood Network, and the BCAT channel in Brooklyn, New York, for the last 14 years. Before there was Twitter, before there was Facebook, before there was YouTube, there was Z Starman and Astrology Numerology now, bringing you the latest astrology news and information. On tonight's episode, we're going to talk about April 2022 astrology numerology highlights. But before we begin the show, I want to dedicate the show to my sister, Dolores Pinckney Hart, who passed away suddenly on March 19th, 2022, the day before spring started. Dolores was a Libra with the moon in Cancer, and she was my fourth sister out of six. So she is an amazing woman. We're gonna all miss her. And Dolores, this show is just for you. So, hey Dolores, I love you and always will think of you. So now let's begin. What are the April 2022 astrology and numerology highlights? Well, to start off, it's Aries season. We're in the sign of Aries right now. It's the beginning of the astrological new year. The sun entered the sign of Aries on March 20th, 2022 at 11:33 a.m. And it's going to remain there until April 19th at 10:24 p.m. or 10:24, let me double check that, 10:24 p.m. on April the 19th, Eastern Daylight Time. Now in California, if you're watching the show in California, it's 3 hours behind, so that would be 7:24. If you're watching the show, let's say in London, England, that's going to be about 3:24 on April 20th. See, the seasons and signs start simultaneously around the planet at the same time, but it depends on what time zone you're in. It's going to be different. So know the time zones. A lot of people say Z Starman. My astrology book says April 20th or April 21st in some books, but no, that's just the day and the time. It changes every year. One day, year, depending on your time zone, it could start at a different date and a different time. So we're in the sign of Aries right now as we speak, and I want to say happy birthday to all the Aries people who are watching the show. Happy New Year. It's the beginning of your astrological new year. Now, since the name of the show is Astrology Numerology Now, I want to talk about the numerology significance of March 2022, or excuse me, April 2022. So the year itself, 2022, is a number 6 universal year. We take 2022, add it all up together, 2 plus 0 is 2, plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6. And the vibration of the universal year 2022 is number 6. And the energy of the number 6 is about health, wellness, responsibility, working together, and more importantly, healing, health, and wellness. I know there's a lot of mandates that have been lifted around the country and around the world in most places, but there is still a pandemic going on. There's still a pandemic. So we're still fighting that. We still have to work with that. We still have to focus on healing and responsibility and service in a number 6 universal year. Again, 2022 is a 6 universal year. And 6 is about health, wellness, and healing and service and giving back to others. Now, with March, I keep saying March, I don't know why I'm stuck on March, but April 2022 is a number 1 universal year. How do we get that number 1? What we do is we take April, which is the 4th month of the year, and we add it on to the universal year 6. So 4 plus 6 equals 10. The laws of numerology say we reduce that to a single number. 1 plus 0 equals 1. So the month of April 2022 is a year of whole new beginnings, new chapters to be written, new starts, new energy. It's starting from the beginning in the month of April. It's a 1 universal year. Again, you take April is the 4th month of the year. 2022, once again, is a 6 universal year. So 4 plus 6 is 10. We reduce that 10 to a single digit number, and it's the number 1. April is about new beginning, new start, starting all over again. What do we have up next? There's so much to talk about as far as April astrology and numerology highlights. Got a whole list of things here. And what are we going to talk about next? Oh yeah, we're going to talk about what the national conversation basically is all about. And that is Will Smith, Chris Rock, and Jada Pinkett Smith. So I thought it would be interesting to share the sun, moon, and rising signs and the life path numbers of the aforementioned celebrities. As we all know by now, Chris Rock and Will Smith had an altercation. Will Smith slapped Chris Rock over comments about Jada Smith. And you all know the story. I'm just here to tell you the astrological significance behind each person. So let's begin. Will Smith's birthday is, let's see here. Will Smith's birthday is September 25th, 1968. His moon sign is Scorpio. So all that Scorpio energy came out that night. And his rising sign is Gemini. So you can tell by his energy. Will is a great talker. He's a great actor. He just won the Academy Award for Best Actor for King Richard. But just breaking down his chart, he's a Libra with the moon in Scorpio. And those aren't the best places for the sun and the moon. The sun is in its fall. For you seasoned astrologers, the sun is in its fall in the sign of Libra. And also the moon is in its fall, meaning that it doesn't work. It's the worst place for it to be. But still he has all this great talent and energy. And his rising sign is the number, or his rising sign is Gemini. He's a Libra with the moon in Scorpio and Gemini rising. His life path number, Will Smith's life path number is the number 4. Hard work, hard worker, laying foundation. That is the vibration of the number 4. But also his personal year for 2022 is the number 4 also. So Will Smith has a lot of work to do on himself for the remainder of this year. Who are we going to talk about next? We're going to talk about Chris Rock. Chris Rock's birthday is February 7th, 1965. He has the moon in Aries, and he also has Aries rising sign. I sort of got him surprised when I found out that he had both moon in Aries and Aries rising sign, and the restraint that he had in not retaliating against Will Smith because of all the Aries energy. Again, he has the moon in Aries and Aries rising sign. His life path number is the number 3, and his personal year for 2022 is also the number 6. Up next, it's Jada Pinkett. Jada Pinkett Smith, Will's wife, she's a Virgo with the moon in Virgo. Her birthday is September 18th, 1971, and she has Sagittarius rising. Her life path number is the number 9, and her personal year. What is her personal year? Her personal year is the number 6 for 2022. So there you have it, all the drama between these two. I personally didn't like the violence that Will Smith did on stage in front of the whole world, because the Academy Awards is a worldwide audience and stage, and I can again commend Chris Rock for not retaliating, not responding, and just said, hold up, wait a minute, let's think about this. So hopefully these 3 in general can straighten your lives out. If you're just tuning in and watching, you are watching Astrology-Numerology Now. I'm your host, Zaki Z Starman, and we're talking about April 2022 Astrology-Numerology highlights. If you want to know your sun and your moon sign and your life path number and your personal year for 2022, I'm going to put up my number. Here it is. You can give me a call after the show, and we can talk astrology and numerology as it relates to you. That number is 917-473-2211. Again, to reach out to me after the show, that number is 917-473-2211 is the number to call. You can reach me on social media at Z Starman on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you want to talk astrology with me and know your life path number and your personal year, and what's most importantly, know your sun, moon, and rising sign. Now, we're in April 2022, and the high holidays are among us during April 22. And we got Easter, and we got Ramadan, and we got Passover. So I want to say happy holidays to those of the Muslim, Christian, and Jewish faith. But a lot of people don't know that holidays usually begin on things that we see in the heavens and in the sky. How do we know when it's Easter? How do we know when it's Ramadan? How do we know when it's Passover? Well, the Catholic Church has determined that Easter occurs the first Sunday after the first full moon of spring. The first full moon of spring, I think Easter is on Sunday, April 17th, but the first full moon of spring is on April 16th. That's the pink moon. So again, Easter occurs the first Sunday after the first full moon of spring. And again, the first full moon of spring this year is April 16th, and Easter is on Sunday, April 17th. So we were in Ramadan season. I want to say Ramadan Mubarak to all my Muslim brothers and sisters and astrologers who are watching the show. The Ramadan season is a lunar season, and it's based on cycles of the moon. And it always begins on a new moon. So throughout religious holidays, a lot of people somewhat frown on astrology and numerology, but in religious holidays, they're all determined on the position of when and how the moon starts and ends. If you're just watching, you're watching Z Starman on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. This is Astrology-Numerology now in its 14th year on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. So what do we have next to talk about? Okay, let's talk about some of the astrological shifts and transits right now. On April 5th, 2022, Venus, the planet of love and luck and money and romance, it moved into the sign of Pisces. And Venus is going to be in the sign of Pisces until May 2nd, 2022 at 12:10 p.m. In astrology, some planets work better in other places than they do, or work better in other signs than they do in other signs. This is a great opportunity for Pisces people because Venus works best in the sign of Pisces. So Venus is in Pisces from April 5th till May 2nd. So all you Pisces people, take advantage of it. And also other water sign people like Cancer and Scorpio. It's going to be somewhat challenging with Venus in the sign of Pisces to other mutable signs like Gemini, Sagittarius, and Virgos. So be mindful of how the energy will flow and work for you. Up next, we have Mercury is in the sign of Taurus. Mercury is in the sign of Taurus from April 10th to April 29th, 2022. Mercury is, of course, the planet of communication and information. Taurus is the sign of money and stability and being grounded. So we got Mercury in Taurus from, let me look at that again, April 10th to April 29th for about 3 weeks. And Mercury's getting up right now. It's moving real quickly, but it's going to go into retrograde mode beginning on May 10th. Mercury's in retrograde on May 10th. So let's, with Mercury and Taurus, handle all your financial affairs, handle all your business. This is going to help out a lot of Capricorn people and also a lot of Virgo people with Mercury in the sign of Taurus. Up next, what do we have? This is Z Starman, and you're watching Astrology-Numerology now, and we're talking about April 2022 Astrology-Numerology highlights. Now, we got some important conjunctions coming up. We have on April 12th, Jupiter conjunct Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Now, what is a conjunction? A conjunction is when two or more planets are in alignment with one another or next to each other, so to speak. But I like to say they're aligned with one another. So Jupiter and Neptune will be conjunct or right next to each other. And it's like combining two energies together. So we have old school ruler of Pisces, which is Jupiter, and Neptune, which is the current modern day ruler of Pisces, coming together. Tap into spiritual energy on that day. And that day again is April 12th. If you're watching the show, we have Jupiter conjunct Neptune in the sign of Pisces on that day. So look out for that day. Plan to vibrate on a higher frequency. A lot of planets are starting to leave the sign of Pisces. Pisces, this will help you out so much. You got Pisces rising sign, moon in Pisces. Vibrate on that frequency with Jupiter conjunct Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Up next, what do we have? Oh yeah, we have a full moon. We have a full moon in the sign of Libra on April 16th. Remember I said earlier when I was talking about the religious significance of astrology, We have a full moon on April 16th in the sign of Libra. Native Americans call this a pink full moon because it's a time when it's strawberry season and starting to grow fruits and plants and things like that. So it's also a pink moon on April 16th, and that will happen at 2:55 p.m. It'll be exact full moon. We have a couple of minutes to go. I'm going to speed rush everything that I'm talking about right now. And 2 days later, the sun enters the sign of Taurus. Taurus season begins on April 19th, once again at 10:24 p.m. So happy birthday to all the Taurus people. This show is going to run throughout the month of April. So happy birthday to all the Taurus people. Up next, we have Venus conjunct Neptune. So Venus is in Pisces and Neptune is in Pisces at the same time. So we have all these great conjunctions, all these combination of planets coming together for the greater good of the planet and for the greater good of wherever Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune are in your astrology chart. Let's say if you're a Gemini, it's in your 10th house. It's in your house of career and success. Let's say if you're Virgo, natally, it's in your 7th house. So you may have some great things going on with a partner or a business plan. Again, Venus and Neptune are conjunct. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus in astrology. So remember this day, April 27th, Venus conjunct Neptune in the sign of Taurus. Also, what we have going on is that Pluto is about to be retrograde. Pluto turns retrograde on April 29th, and this retrograde is in the sign of Capricorn. So a lot of Capricorn people, if you have moon in Capricorn, Capricorn rising, and especially in the latter degrees of Capricorn, some life-altering experiences are getting ready to happen, whether it be for the better or the good. But Pluto is about to turn retrograde on, we say that date again, April 29th, all the way to October 6th, 2022. It's the first retrograde of 2022, and we have a lot of retrogrades that are coming and that are on the horizon. So this is the first. This should help out some other earth sign people like Taurus and Virgo, and it should mark changes with Libra people when it comes to family with this Pluto retrograde. If you're a Pisces, this Pluto retrograde will bring about communication changes in how you relate to your brothers and sisters and how you communicate with other people. So the first retrograde of 2022 is Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. Again, get ready. We're almost a month away from Mercury being retrograde also. We're going to talk about that more in a previous show as we get ready for May 2022 highlights. Last but not least, we have a partial solar eclipse on April 30th in the sign of Taurus. What is a solar eclipse? It's when the moon passes between the earth and the sun. Here's a picture of what that solar eclipse looks like. Now, this eclipse is not visible in the United States and Europe. It's only visible, and it's going to happen at 2:45 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., and it's only visible in South America. My point is, just because we can't see it here in like New York or North America doesn't mean it's happening. A lot of change with money, finances, love, and relationships. And heaven forbid, there may be a major earthquake on that day with that transit or with that solar eclipse in the sign of Libra, in the sign of Taurus, which also is a new moon day with the sun being in the sign of Libra, in the sign of Taurus. Get an eclipse during a new moon, and it'll be a new moon in Taurus. So watch out for, again, the partial solar eclipse on April 30th. That's about all the time we have for astrology, numerology now. If you have any questions about what you just saw tonight, you can contact me at 917-973-2211, or you can find me on all the social media platforms. If you're watching this show on television, you can go to the Facebook page, Astrology-Numerology Now, and watch the show again. This has been Z Starman saying thank you for watching. I want to thank my producer and executive producer and director, Deetra Kelsey, for making all this happen, and to you, the viewers, for watching. Wishing you peace, love, light. Namaste.
And it's a lie. Who controls your very soul? Ask them why. You is so sound and practical. Yet Gemini, so inconsistent. Ooh, let me tell you a secret I know. Known the world over. Your life is controlled by the stars. Ooh, the planets of